a.m. First Fruits. It's where I get up at 4 a.m., study the Bible, and bring whatever I learn over here to you guys. This is a chapter by chapter Bible study series, and we are in 2 Kings chapter 19. Last chapter, we were left on a bit of a cliffhanger. We're trying to figure out what is going to happen to King Hezekiah, a righteous king for once. 2 Kings chapter 19. When King Hezekiah heard their report, remember, he was left extremely humiliated with all of these threats from this Assyrian king named Sennacherib, who came with this he brought his messengers. He didn't even come with this long speech threatening, causing fear, doubt, and blaspheming God. Then he heard this report. He tore his clothes, covered himself with sackcloth, and went into the Lord's temple. Immediately, his humiliation and the fear that the people had of their lives brought Hez to the Lord's temple, straight to God. Great sign. Yes. He sent Eliakim, who was in charge of the palace, Shebna, the court secretary, and the leading priests who were wearing sackcloth, to the prophet Isaiah, son of Amoz. He said to him, "This is what Hezekiah says. Today is a day of distress, rebuke, and disgrace, for children have come to the point of birth, but there is no strength to deliver them." NLT said, "When the child is ready to be born, but the mother has no strength." Verse 4, "Perhaps the Lord your God will hear all of the words of the royal spokesman, whom his master, the king of Assyria, sent to mock the living God, and will rebuke him for the words that the Lord your God has heard. Therefore offer a prayer for the surviving remnants." So the servants of the king Hezekiah went to Isaiah, who said to them, "Tell your master, the Lord said this. Don't be afraid because of the words you have heard with which the king of Assyria's attendants have blasphemed me. I'm about to put a spirit in him, and he will hear a rumor and return to his own land, where I will cause him to fall by the sword." So the Lord put a spirit in him. Verse 8, "When the royal spokesman heard that the king of Assyria had pulled out of Lachish, he left and found him fighting against Libnah. The king had heard concerning King Tirhakah of Cush, 'Look, he has set out to fight against you.' So he again sent messengers to Hezekiah, saying, 'Don't let your God to whom you rely deceive you by promising that Jerusalem will not be handed over to the king of Assyria. Look, you have heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all the other countries. They completely destroyed them. Will you be rescued? Did the gods of the nations that my predecessors destroyed rescue them?' So Hezekiah sent word to Isaiah. Isaiah got a confirmation that it's going to be okay, don't worry. And then we have our ancient bully, our ancient troll, if you will, sending more messages, threats, and trying to cause fear and doubt into Hezekiah and the people of Jerusalem. This is how Hez responds. Hezekiah took the letter from the messenger's hands, read it, then went up to the Lord's temple and spread it out before the Lord. He spread out the letters before him. And Hezekiah prayed before the Lord. Good job, Hez. In such distress, in the face of fear and doubt from an enemy, a bully, Hez goes straight to the Lord's temple, lays out his problems, casts his burdens to God, and says, "Help me." Then Hezekiah prayed before the Lord, "Lord God of Israel, enthroned between the cherubim, you are God, you alone. Of all the kingdoms of the earth, you made the heavens and the earth. Listen closely, Lord, and hear. Open your eyes, Lord, and see. Hear the words that Sennacherib has sent to mock the living God. Lord, it is true that the kings of Assyria have devastated the nations in their lands. They have thrown their gods into the fire, for they were no gods, but made by human hands, wood and stone. So they have destroyed them. Now, Lord your God, please save us from his power, so that all kingdoms of the earth may know that you, Lord, are God, you alone." You ever said a prayer and was like, "That was not me"? This felt like one of those. God answers. Then Isaiah, son of Amos, sent a message to Hezekiah. The Lord, the God of Israel, says, I have heard your prayer to me about King Sennacherib of Assyria. This is the word the Lord has spoken against him. Virgin daughter Zion despises you and scorns you. Daughter Jerusalem shakes her head behind your back. Who is it you mocked and blasphemed? Against whom have you raised your voice and lifted your eyes in pride? Against the Holy One of Israel. You have mocked the Lord through your messengers. You have said, with my chariots I have gone up to the heights of the mountains, to the far recesses of Lebanon. I cut down its tallest cedars, its choice cypress trees. I came to its furthest outposts, its densest forests. I dug wells. I drank water in foreign lands. I dried up all the streams of Egypt with the soles of my feet. Have you not heard? I designed it long ago. I planned it in days gone by. I have now brought it to pass, and you have crushed fortified cities into piles of rubble. Their inhabitants have become powerless, dismayed, and ashamed. They are plants of the fields, tender grass on the rooftops, blasted by the east wind. But I know you're sitting down, you're going out, and you're coming in, and you're raging against me. Because you're raging against me and your arrogance has reached my ears, I will put my hook in your nose and my bit in your mouth, and I will make you go back the way you came. God's words, y'all. It's funny that the Lord mentioned the hook and the bit, because the hook goes into wild animals' nose. Like if you've ever been to Egypt, they have hooks in the camel's nose. That's how they control the camel. And then the bit in the horses is how they control the horses. And Assyrians were actually known for parading captured kings and captured people with hooks in their nose as a humiliation to the captured people. And so it's so interesting that the Lord mentioned that at the end. He then goes into promise again, good things for Judah, good things for Jerusalem. Because of David, it said, my sake and for the sake of my servant David. So for God's glory and for the covenant he made to David. Not only did he promise for them to have survival, but he promised for them to thrive. In verse 35, that night the angel of the Lord went out and struck down 185,000 in the camp of the Assyrians. When the people got up the next morning, they were all RIP. Just laying there, gone. So the king Sennacherib of Assyria broke camp and left. He returned home and lived in Nineveh. One day while he was worshiping in the temple of his god, Nisroch, his son struck him down with a sword and escaped to the land of Ararat. Then his son Esarhaddon became king in his place. Whenever our enemy is bringing us fear and doubt and thoughts or messages from people, spread it out before the Lord and pray. His successful prayer, he gives glory to the Lord. Very simple. He presents this letter of blasphemy. He says, Lord, this is what my enemy is telling me. Then he appeals to God's glory. Not just for Judah, but so all kingdoms will know God is God. And that is a good setup prayer, y'all. And God's response. He's in control. He sticks to his covenants. And boy, does he love us. And if you find yourself today feeling defeated from the enemy, take it to God, spread it out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next 4 a.m. Love you guys.